Hello students, let's do chapter 3, the Delhi Sultanate. Since the chapter is very vast, so I have divided chapter into 4 parts. Let's revise section at the end of the video will help you to summarize your learning. So, let's start with Delhi Sultanate. Now, in this chapter, what I will be teaching you, first I will be teaching you how the Delhi Sultanate came into being. Who was Mahmud Ghaznavi and who was Muhammad Ghori? I will be talking about the 5 dynasties under Delhi Sultanate. We will see how these dynasties administered themselves, what was meant by the Iqta system, what was the architecture in the Delhi Sultanate. So let's move on to the next slide. As I told you, when you start reading your chapter, the very first paragraph talks about Mahmud Ghaznavi. So the very first question which comes to our mind is who was Mahmud Ghaznavi? Now Mahmud Ghaznavi was a ruler of Ghazni, the modern day Afghanistan and northeast Iran. Now he came to India, he came to conquer India in 1001 and his last expedition was in 1026 AD. So the first expedition was aimed against Punjab and northeast India, and the last was on Somnath. So the very first sentence on your book is that after the conquest of Mahmud Ghaznavi, for about 150 years, India was not conquered by any other invader than Muhammad Ghori. Right. So this is how Muhammad Ghori looked. Muhammad Ghori, who was he? He was the ruler of Ghor, a small place in Afghanistan. He attacked India. Let me have my pointer. Okay. He attacked in India and he captured the parts of Punjab and Sindh. Now, very important thing which is associated with Muhammad Ghori is the Battle of the Rain. Now, there are 3 things that you need to learn. One, the battle was fought between Muhammad Ghori and a Rajput ruler, Prithvi Raj Chauhan. Number 2, 2 battles were fought. The first battle in 1191 AD, the second battle in 1192 AD. In the first battle, Muhammad Ghori was defeated, but he vowed to come prepared the next year, and in 1192, in the second battle of the Rain, Muhammad Ghori defeated Prithvi Raj Chauhan. So, after defeating the last Rajput ruler, how did he deal with it? Now, after the second battle of the Rain, he went back to Ghor, leaving the affairs of the state to his trusted slave Qutbuddin Aibak. So he left Ghor and he entrusted the entire conquest in India to his trusted slave Qutbuddin Aibak. Hence, the first dynasty that I'm going to be I will be talking about, the slave dynasty, was founded by Qutbuddin Aibak. Now, Aibak took control of Delhi Sultanate. The first thing he did was that he cut off his links with Ghor and he started the process of developing India on its independent line. Now, before we move on to the details of this dynasty, very important for you to know that Delhi dynasty or Delhi Sultanate, as we say, had 5 dynasties. One, the slave dynasty, then Khilji dynasty, then Tughlaq dynasty, then Sayyid dynasty, and the last was the Lodhi dynasty. So we will be doing these dynasties one by one. All right, so first dynasty that we will be doing, as you can see here, now we are doing the slave dynasty, right? So let's move on to the slave dynasty. Now, slave dynasty has about 5 rulers which have been mentioned in your book. Now, normally questions on the slave dynasty on these rulers are asked to arrange them in the chronological order. So for that, you can use this word which is heir NB, heir in notebook. So what does that mean? The first ruler from A, Aibak, then I, Iltutmish, R, Razia Sultan, Nasir Uddin Mahmud, and Gyasuddin Balban. Although you might see in your book that before Razia Sultan, Ruk Uddin Firoz Shah has also been mentioned, so that is also from R. So these are the rulers that we will be studying in slave dynasty. Now, the first ruler, as I told you, is Qutbuddin Aibak. His time period is 1206 to 1210 AD. As I told you, he took control of Delhi Sultanate. The first thing he did was he cut off his link with the Ghor, and he wanted to develop India on independent lines. In 1210 AD, he died of injuries due to fall from his horse while playing polo. So after Aibak, he was succeeded by his son, no, son-in-law Iltutmish. So he was his next ruler. Now, sometimes the question comes there, the question can be of two types. One, who was the founder of the slave dynasty? Definitely you'll say Aibak. But sometimes the question can be who's regarded as the real founder. So Iltutmish is regarded as the real founder of the Delhi Sultanate. Right? Now, what did he do? The first thing is he crushed all his rivals, the Turks and Rajputs. And another important thing that he did was that at that time there was a Mongol leader. Now, who were Mongols? Mongols were the warring tribes who actually belonged to Central Asia. So their most important leader was Genghis Khan. Now, Genghis Khan was following Jalaluddin, and Jalaluddin had asked for help from Iltutmish, but Iltutmish refused to give shelter to this quadrant leader because he felt that if he will help Jalaluddin, then he will also invite the wrath of Genghis Khan. Iltutmish created a group of 40 nobles, his trusted nobles, and he named it as Chahalgani. Then, now, lastly, he granted land or iktas to the members of the army. Now is Razia Sultan. The time period of Razia Sultan is 1236 to 1240 AD. Now, her father, Iltutmish, despite having sons, chose Razia as his successor. But the nobles did not support Razia as the Sultan. So they thought that being a lady, she cannot be the next ruler. So they made Rukh-uddin Firoz Shah, son of Iltutmish, as the next ruler, but he was not fit to rule. So Razia was made the Sultan with the support of the people. Now, this is how Razia looked. Now, if you could see in the picture that Razia discarded her female dress, and look how people are looking at her with an awe that what kind of lady she is, because she used to she used to hold court with her face not covered. She even hunted and led the army in war. However, the Turkish nobles did not approve her independent ways. Now, her account has been mentioned by the author Minhaz-e-Siraj. She was finally murdered in 1240. Now, after Razia, we have lot many other rulers as well, but the most important one was Nasir ud-Din Mehmud. He was another son of Iltutmish, but he was under the influence of one powerful Turkish chief, Ulg Khan, who later came to be known as Balban. Now, Balban captured throne after the death of Nasir ud-Din Mahmud and finally ascended the throne in 1266. So, just a quick revision of the rulers that we have done. First, we did Aibak, then the Iltutmish. He established Chehelgani. He also granted Iktas. He did not allow Jalaluddin to take shelter in his empire because he did not want Genghis Khan to uh, to follow Iltutmish as well. Then Razia Sultan, but before Razia Sultan, Rukh-uddin Firoz Shah, and then Gyasuddin Balban, but before that, Nasir-uddin Mahmud. Now, Balban is considered to be the most important ruler of the slave dynasty. So, what did he do? Number one, he introduced strict discipline and he strengthened the power of the monarch. He believed in the divine rights of the king. Divine rights of the king means that the kings are the chosen representatives of the God on the earth. Now, divine right of theory, as I told you, that means that king is the representative of God on the earth. So he maintained a grand court, He suppressed all the internal and external dangers. He organized a strong army. He broke the power of Chahalgani. Recently, I talked about it in my first or second slide. Chahalgani was the group of 40 nobles, and this was started by Iltutmish, but Balban broke the power of Chahalgani. He was strict in delivering justice, did not even spare the nobles. He appointed spies to keep him well informed what is happening in his kingdom. Now, Balban also followed the policy of blood and iron. So, this time and again, the question is asked that which ruler followed the policy of blood and iron? That was Balban. Now, what was his policy? That blood, even he had to fight, iron means giving harsh punishments. The policy was about maintaining law and order. He gave harsh punishments to robbers and dacoits. He also introduced two new customs, one the sijda, other is paibos. Now what was this two system? सिजदा meant कि जैसे ही कोई नोबल जो है बलबन के कोर्ट में आएगा वो झुक कर उसको सलाम करते हुए उसके पांच पहुंचेगा, सिजदा जो है. पाइबॉस मतलब अपने सुल्तान के बलबन के फीट जो है उसको किस करना. It was done to emphasize that nobles were not equal to Balban. That ruler had a specific position, whereas nobles were not equal to the ruler. Again, so we have done the first dynasty. Quickly, I'll talk about the rulers. First, Qutbuddin Aibak, then Iltutmish, then Rukuddin Firoz Shah, then Razia Sultan, Nasir Uddin Mahmud, and then Balban. Right, so in the next video, we'll be talking about Khiljis, right? So let's go on to the most important part of this video, that is, let's revise. India did not face any major invasion for more than dash after the raid of Mahmud Ghaznavi. So this is 150 years. Ghor was a small principality in Afghanistan. The Battle of Tarain was fought between Muhammad Ghori and Prithvi Raj Chauhan. The first Battle of Tarain was fought in 1191 AD, in which Battle of Tarain Muhammad Ghori was victorious. In second Battle of Tarain in 1192 AD. Next question. Who was Prithvi Raj Chauhan? Prithvi Raj Chauhan, also called as Prithvi Raj III, was the Hindu ruler of Chauhan dynasty. He ruled the kingdom of Ajmer and Delhi during the 12th century. The Turkish ruled over India from 1206 to 1526. After the death of Muhammad Ghori in 1206, Dash took control over Delhi Sultanate. Qutbuddin Aibak, the trusted slave of Muhammad Ghori. All the rulers in the slave dynasty were known as Mumluks, right? This is an Arabic word which means a slave or a son of a slave. Then Aibak was succeeded by Iltutmish. Now we have more questions for you. Aibak died while playing polo. Who constructed Qutub Minar? Now this is very important. Qutub Minar was constructed by Qutbuddin Aibak but completed by Iltutmish. What makes it unique? The use of red and white sandstone makes Qutub Minar a unique monument of medieval Indian history. Iltutmish refused to give shelter to Jalal ud-Din, the Khwajaran leader. The group of 40 Chehelgani that was introduced by Iltutmish, but it was disbanded by Balban. Name the woman ruler of Delhi Sultanate, Razia Sultan. After the death of Iltutmish, Dash became the ruler Rukuddin Firoz Shah. Right? Then Razia was murdered in 1240 AD. Ulgh Khan was another name of Balban. When did Balban ascend the throne? 1266. Who gave harsh punishments to dacoits and robbers? Balban. Who started the policy of blood and iron? Balban. Balban introduced two customs, that is Sijda and Paibos. Grants of land, Ikta. Now, this question, I was just looking in your book and I found that this is a kind of question which, if asked, you would always say, okay, we didn't find it. But if you read the chapter very thoroughly, it has written the last ruler of the slave dynasty, Kakuabad, right? So here we complete with part 1 of this video. I hope you enjoyed listening to how the Delhi Sultanate was formed. Now, in this video, I have talked about Mahmud Ghaznavi, Muhammad Ghori, and the first dynasty, which is the slave dynasty. So, stay tuned for the next video in which I will be talking about the Khiljis. Bye for now.